Welcome, it's a great day to be a miner because we got some new hardware, baby. We're gonna unbox these things, go over the specs, the features, where we got them, how much they cost, all those fun nerdy numbers. But first, let's spin that intro. All right, and we're back. So yeah, we got some new hardware today, and first and foremost, let's go over the disclaimer. We picked these up with our own hard-earned cash and crypto. So yeah, the opinions in this video are that of our own. That being said, let's tear into these. You're probably saying, what's in the box?
What's in the box?
But you probably already know what's in the box. We're gonna pretend you don't know what's in the box, and we're gonna open these things up. You know what time it is, baby? RGB knife never gets old. Okay, so where did we get these? First and foremost, we'll tell you where we got these. We picked them up from Amazon. They are from a company called DCE Technologies. It's actually a real company that sells ASIC miners and big, small, and everything in between. Again, it's not affiliated, not sponsored, so you can take from whatever you want from this company. But the reason we picked these up is that they were significantly cheaper on their brand new Amazon store than they were at any other place that we could find, so we went ahead and picked them up, probably like $100 cheaper on each of these. Again, we'll go over the cost and everything as we go on. It looked a little sketchy, and it looked like they had just launched this store, the Amazon store, so I actually reached out to the company to verify that was the official Amazon account. You got to protect yourself. Sometimes they'll have brand new sellers on Amazon. You'll pay money and it'll be sold and shipped by that company, and you'll never get the item, and then you try to fight for the money back, and it's a whole thing, especially if it's not sold or shipped by Amazon. So yeah, without further ado, we're gonna open one of these up. We'll start with this one's more exciting in my opinion, so let's open it up first. And as you can see, it definitely has ran through the mill. Box is all crunched up, has made in China, please put down carefully, has a broken glass with Chinese written on it, has definitely done some overseas shipping, and but hopefully everything in there is safe. A lot of rattle in there, a lot of shaking going on. But yeah, since it came through Amazon, we didn't pay any extra custom duties or anything, and they were both significantly cheaper than the current market value currently than any other site offers them. So let's see how we do. It's packaged pretty shoddy in there. It is in foam, but man, everything is like super loosely packaged in there and rattling around. But man, look at that. That is the box for the display, so hopefully the display is okay and everything's set in there. But yeah, we're gonna take that out. So we got our standard power supply that says Bit Solo Player, 12 volt, 10 amps, so that's 120 watt PSU, and it does have the US Type 3 prong plug with a barrel jack. I'm not sure what this little orange piece is that's laying loose in there. It looks like part of the 3D print stand, maybe. Oh man, stuff just laying around in there. Oh yeah, 3D print stand is broke. What else we got? Oh, there's the display. Let's hope it's okay, because it was supposed to be in here and it wasn't in here. There's another piece of the display, and that's all that is in there. Okay. So yeah, what is this? This is the NerdqAxe, and it is a Hydro edition. So yeah, the Hydro means that of course it is water cooled. It has a 120 millimeter AIO with a fan on it, and they do have a nice little grill on this thing. Man, these lines are pretty hard. Nice little 3D print style grill on there. And then, oh man, yeah, that's definitely broke. These, man, where was it broke off of? So we got these two pieces of plastic here that were just laying in the bottom, and I'm not sure if this was supposed to be, oh, so this was 3D printed and connected right here. This bracket for the NerdqAxe was actually connected right there and has broke off from the 3D print. And then at the bottom, these two were connected at the bottom to hook in. Yeah, and they're broke off too. So the top was connected like this, and the bottom were the legs to go underneath to connect it like that. And then the display wasn't actually in there, it just came out of this box, but the display should just hook right in, except, oof, man, the top part where the display hooks in, the pin header is completely bent down. So hopefully that bends back safely. Man, this is looking real sketchy. Hopefully this thing fires up and works, and if it does, then we're really just having an issue with the 3D stand, and maybe I can just print my own. Maybe I can find a file for the Hydro. I bet I can find a different stand and just plop it on there. But man, this is looking rough already. So let's bend that guy back. Yeah, I think that's gonna work. So yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and set this thing up and see if it's gonna run. We're not gonna go through the detailed setup and tell you how to find the pool and how to plug everything into it, because it'll set up it like any other Bitaxe, NerdAxe, all these solo miners set up very similarly. If you need to know, we just set up a NerdqAxe. Check out that review video up above. It should set up exactly the same as this one. But yeah, let's see if we can get our display plugged in here. And it really should just kind of plug right in and slide into the housing. Okay, even bent, we just bent it back and plugged it right in. So that plugged in okay. So maybe we'll just fire it up like this and see if it works. So let's just make this get plugged in and turn it on and see what happens. Ready, go. Boom, okay, moment of truth. Here we go. Let's plug it in and see what happens. Well, the lights came on. That's a plus. Oh, that's fabulous. The screen completely shattered. You can see one little corner of it over there on to the right, but the rest of the screen is broken. I bet we can easily buy this replacement screen. I don't know how much one of those would be. I bet you probably 30 bucks, but I guess we're gonna find out. It's just a standard LilyGo type screen. It says T-Display S3 LilyGo, so definitely shattered our little screen, but our water cooler came on, the lights. Let's do the little peel. Okay, so it looks kind of cool. I mean, I don't like that it is an infinity mirror type design on the AIO, but it's turned this way. So it says Snowman is the brand, but again, it's the infinity mirror, so it kind of like, you know, shows back. That part looks cool. The fan came on the AIO. It is an RGB fan. Let's see if you can see that RGB fan. I can feel the movement in the whole thing, so it feels like everything's working. The power, it's showing about 20 watts, so which, if it's not set up for mining, it's not actually going to show anything or actually have any hash rate. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and go through the setup. I'll just run through it over the top real quick and tell you a quick abbreviated setup. So first of all, you do your physical setup, you plug in your power, you plug it in. When it comes up, it is now needing to be connected to a mobile device. I just use my phone. I go ahead and I go to the Wi-Fi. This should be broadcasting a brand new Wi-Fi network to connect to. Let's see what it's called for this one. And scanning for Wi-Fi networks, it is called NerdAxe_1, A as in Apple, E as in Echo, 9. And so we'll connect to the Wi-Fi network. Once it's good and connected between that and the mobile device, I'll open a web browser. I'll go to 192.168.4.1, and then it will get to where it goes to AxeOS. From AxeOS, you'll go to your settings or your network tab, one or the other. You'll go and you'll put in your SSID for your wireless network, your password. You'll hit save. You'll then go to pools. Don't restart yet. Pro tip: don't restart yet. Go to your pools, and set up your pool. and then you'll put in your Bitcoin wallet .worker name, or if you're into like via BTC, your login .worker name, and then you'll save, and then you'll restart it, and then that should then make this guy disconnect from your phone. This will then connect to your SSID, and if you have everything plugged in, boom, it starts mining. But we're not gonna show you all that. We're just gonna go ahead and do it and come back and see if it works even with our little busted screen. So without further ado, go. And boom, just like that, it is up and mining. However, the problem is that we can't see the IP address. Like, these screens make it so nice because once you set it up, it tells you the local IP, and then you can just open a browser, go look at it, and you can see the AxeOS again and see what it's hashing and all that. I can tell that it's hashing away because the screen has changed, and now we're at 97 watts at the wall. So this total unit's using 97 watts, but as far as the hash rate, I'll have to check the pool once it spools up long enough. And also I can go into my router or my network app and find what this device is, because when I was setting it up, I made sure to change the host name on this thing. So now it says NerdqAxe Hyrdo, and then I put DCE. So I know if I get another Hydro, I know where I got this one. So now that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna check and make sure it's hashing properly, because again, this is now on Wi-Fi, so that 192.168.4.1 no longer connects to that. So now we got to find the real IP, get on the same network, and connect to it. Let's go do that and see how it's doing. So yeah, it is hashing. It's showing on the pool. It's only at 1 gigahertz on the pool. It does, these NerdqAxes, they take a lot longer to spool all the way up than say like a Bitaxe Gamma. And I believe it's the way that the 4 chips are working together on a board rather than firing up a single chip and getting clear up the hash rate. It kind of takes a lot longer for these to get up to. They should be around 4.5 to 5 terahash once this gets up to full hash rate. We're using 99.6 watts at the wall. And really the only issue I see with this thing, of course, is the cracked 3D printed case and the cracked screen. Both can be fixed up, so we'll get ourselves a new screen. I'm not going to deal with trying to get a replacement through DCE. I think that will be a pain and a nightmare. Definitely a Chinese company. But yeah, there's that one. So let's go ahead and unbox our other one. Let's make it happen. Go. All right, you know what time it is, baby. RGB knife. Engage. It's a twofer. This video is a twofer. We got the RGB knife out ×2. So again, this one is another one through DCE. It is a different variation of a NerdqAxe. This is actually called a Bitaxe Supra Hex. So it's not actually a NerdqAxe. It is a Bitaxe Supra Hex. And what makes it a NerdAxe versus a Bitaxe is the giant screen. This one should have the small screen, just like a Bitaxe, like this white paper edition one up here with the itty bitty 1 inch by like a ½ inch screen. So that's what this one should have. And why is it a Supra Hex? Supra Hex. It's a Supra Hex because it's got 6 of the Bitaxe Supra chips. So this has 4 of the BM1370, which is the same as a Bitaxe Gamma. This has 6 of the same as the Supra, which is the BM1368 chips. So this should do 4.2 terahash, whereas that one's rated at 4.8, but generally runs between 4.5 and 5. So yeah, without further ado, I should stop gabbing and get this thing open. Boy, they really taped this guy up. Where is the flap on this thing? Not there. I might just have to go full tilt and just rip this thing apart. I think they used half of a roll of packing tape. But the difference is, this one doesn't have all the rattle inside. So I'm cautiously optimistic that this one doesn't have broken parts inside like the previous one. Oh, we got a flap loose. I think we're on it. Okay, get open. All right, so let's see. Oh. It's more like an than a oh. Yeah, it's packaged with kind of the same foam, except it's the white version. But the difference is it didn't have the big screen laying around loose in there. So that is interesting. Here's the PSU, but it has a 4-pin CPU type power connector on this one. With a standard, this is the US plug part, so that is pretty cool. Oh man, yeah, I'll dig that. Okay, so let's get the 2 in one day. Okay, so let's get the box out of the way. Here it is, and the stand and everything looks like it's intact. I don't know what this little, this almost just looks like a little copper heat spreader here, which is interesting. But check this thing out. This is just a really giant heat sink, aluminum, really giant aluminum heat sink. It's got a, I believe this is an 80mm fan, 20 thick, which looks like a really high-powered fan. And again, it's not the cute NerdAxe, it's just a regular Bitaxe because it's got the small screen up here. And then looking through it, we got a little mini heatsink right here. And then on the back is where you plug in the power, and it's running a 4-pin header. Man, that 4-pin header almost looks like it's been custom soldered in there. But I dig it. I dig the 4-pin header rather than a barrel jack. It's just more of a safe power delivery, in my opinion, which time will tell. So there it is. Let's see what the power supply is. It is a 180 watt power supply rated, 12.5 amp. It's 12 volt, 12.5 amps. So this is actually a bigger power supply than the standard one that came with this guy. Maybe it'll give us some overclocking headroom. So the difference when you're using the older 1368 chips versus the 1370 chips, obviously the newer chips are way more efficient. So this one using, this one should be a lot less efficient, but it's using 6 chips to get nearly the same hash rate. So if we push this guy up, say overclock it to the same hash rate, it'll probably be using another 10%, 15% power over top of, say, a NerdqAxe. But yeah, I should stop rambling, and let's just plug this thing in and see if it boots right up. If it does, it's gonna be the exact same setup as that or any of the other guys. We'll open the web browser, we'll connect to the new network being broadcast by this guy with our phone. Then we'll then go into the 192.168.4.1. We'll connect the to our Wi-Fi SSID. We'll plug in our Bitcoin address, and we'll restart that thing and get it mining. So this is now, just so we know, this is now running exactly 100 watts at the wall. Yeah, so let's just plug this thing in and see what it does. Wonder if I should have plugged the 4-pin in first. It didn't seem to do any kind of arcing, but the fan spooled right up. It is the blue type screen instead of the greenish lettering, or the white lettering rather. Boy, that fan is loud. That is definitely a server type fan on this guy, but it's at 100%, but still it's loud. That's at 100% and you can't even hear it when this one's running. Hey, listen. Yeah, that guy's loud. Okay, so it's telling us what the Bitaxe network is. It's the Wi-Fi network for this guy. It's Bitaxe_0CB9. So again, we're going to go set this up and we'll come back and see if it starts hashing without any issues. Ready? Go. Bam. Just like that, it is set up in mining. So it did set up exactly the same way as a Bitaxe. The splash screen and everything, the AxeOS is the same as most Bitaxe, as a Bitaxe Gamma and whatnot. Whereas this one's quite a little bit different because it's the NerdAxe view, which is kind of a different GUI, kind of the same setup. Went in there, set it up, connected to the Wi-Fi, put the pool in. We did turn because it's on 100%, it's pretty loud. We turned it to automatic, and it automatically or instantly overheated, which when it overheats, you go back into the GUI, and then you disable the overheat mode, you reset the clocks, and then restart it, and it fires right back up. So currently it's mining at 4.2 gigahash, and it is using 93 watts, 4.3 at 93. Whereas this guy is doing 4.85 on the pool, and it is using right at 100 watts. So it's actually pretty comparative, slightly less efficient on this guy, and this is with the stock default clocks. So now it's showing 3.8. But this is interesting, this little tab that they have over here, it's definitely got a ton of heat in it, and I think it's pulling some heat away from the power connection. So this little additional like metal type plate here is pulling some heat away from that. And then there's another little one up here right off of this main chip, which it's not warm at all. What's interesting on this board is it has a USB-C connection as well. So I guess you can still use USB-C. It has the boot and reset as most Bitaxe do on the top there. 4.2 gigahash or terahash. So let's try to. What's neat is this PSU isn't even warm. It's got little fins on it, and it is 180 watt compared to, or 150 watt compared to 120. But this guy is warm. Like they get warm, and this bit solo power supply gets warm. So the GUI right now is showing 4.1 terahash at 17 joules per terahash. So yeah, it's decently efficient. It's not terrible, 18 joules per terahash now. So it's not terribly inefficient, and we're running this one. Both of these are on CK pool currently. We generally try to use CK pool, public pool. We have some lucky monster as well via BTC, but we're kind of spreading them out since we have so many different solo miners. It is quite loud. Let's try to set this to automatic real quick on the fan and see if it direct overheats again. It's running 100%, and man, this is going to be too loud to have in a normal living space. Now, if you were putting it if you put it in a different garage or basement or something, who cares about the noise, right? But in this instance, that's way too loud to have in, say, like a bedroom or even a living room. Let's go into our settings, and we're going to hit automatic fan control, and then we're going to hit save and restart and see. It didn't even have to restart. We just hit save. Man, that fan cranked way down though. And now let's kind of look at the dashboard temps. Current temp is 38C. It's showing only 73 watts in the software, whereas it's really using 94 at the wall. That means this power brick is pretty inefficient, most likely, because that's almost 20 watts difference. But let's keep an eye on this temp real quick. It is definitely going up. It is now up to 41C and 39% fan. 41% fan, 42C. So we're gonna watch this and see if it actually will keep it under wraps or if we have to manually set the speed on this. We also haven't updated the firmware, so it's possible we need to update the firmware to work properly. So the fan is scaling. It's 45C now for the ASIC temp and 45% for the fan speed. However, when you're setting the fan, it doesn't give you the option to actually set, when you put it to automatic, you can't set a desired temp. So that's telling me this firmware probably needs updated, because I know in the newer firmware you could say put a target ASIC temp of like 60C, and then if it gets up to 60C, by the time it gets there, the fan has already climbed clear up to 100% to match the target temperature. But in this instance, you just have automatic on or automatic off, and then when it's off, you can change the slider. All right, so this guy right here, this is the Bitaxe. It says Bitaxe Miner 701 4.2 terahash with power supply. It's actually the Bitaxe Supra Hex is what it really is called everywhere else. So we paid $230 plus $21 shipping and handling. After tax, two-door, $266.06 for this via Amazon DCE. Again, link will be down in the description. Now, how about this guy here? Okay, so the NerdqAxe Hyrdo 4.8 terahash liquid-cooled Bitcoin miner with power supply. This was $399 plus $26.55 shipping. With tax, total two-door, $451.08. Again, we'll put links down in the description for this guy too. Hopefully, if you do buy from these guys, you don't get this whole busted up issue that I got. But I don't think it was that well packaged. It was in foam that's specifically cut out for these guys, but it still was pretty loosely packed in there, and shipping overseas, it probably took a lot of beating. But yeah, $451.08. If you really think about it, that's a lot of money for these couple guys. How much do these earn? These are really designed to be solo miners. They're designed to mine on the SHA-256 algorithm, which is the same as Bitcoin. And then a number of other coins that you could alternatively mine to, like Bitcoin Cash, Digibytes, etc., etc. They're made to solo mine. And what's that mean? That means they will mine and mine and mine, and if they ever hit a block, they solve the equation, they solve the block, then you get the full block reward minus the small fee for the pool. Usually 1% goes back to the pool for you mining on there. But yeah, that's so... If you don't hit a block, you get no returns. So if you're mining these on Bitcoin, you may never hit a block. You may never get a return on your investment. However, there's a chance, there's an itty bitty chance, there's a small chance that someday that these guys will hit a Bitcoin block and I'll make 3.125 Bitcoin at over $100,000 per Bitcoin. So doing the math, yeah, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. So there's that chance. Not financial advice, but if you do not have the expendable income and you cannot afford to waste the extra 100 watts per each of these for power, then my advice is probably don't pick one of these up. If you do have that, you love the technology, you love being part of the blockchain, you love tinkering, because man, these are fun to overclock, they're fun to change out coolers, to optimize, to change out the stands, then yeah, these are the kind of technologies for you. I personally love this kind of stuff, and I love being part of this ecosystem, part of this sphere, and so that's why I do what I do. But don't do what Altair does. If you can't afford it, don't do it. It's not worth it. So yeah, there's my full review. What about you? What are your thoughts? What do you think of these guys? What if this guy was not broken on the stand and had the good actual display on it, and I had the wires all tucked the right way? I think that would be quite the beautiful display type piece, because it is the Hydro. It's got the cool cooler and all those. This is more of a sleeper appeal. It's made for the hash rate, and it's made because it's a lot cheaper than that guy. So yeah, tell us your thoughts down below in the comments, and what are you mining with? Tell us what you're mining with. What's your favorite miner right now? Because people want to know. I think that about wraps it up for today's video. If you're new to mining, you need some help, make sure to join Misfit Mining Discord. Always plenty of seasoned vets in there willing to help you out. And if you liked the video, you know what to do. Smash that like button and subscribe for future content. Thanks for coming along and enjoy the ride. Then you get the full block reward